to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media. We hope you enjoyed a beautiful and fulfilling day. Thank you for joining us as we welcome Mona Wright to the mic. Mrs. Mona Wright is a wife, mother, servant leader, author, entrepreneur, and educator. Mona is considered a dualpreneur, owning several different businesses, including In the Basket Gifts and All WrightTees. She is featured in the anthology entitled The Phenomenal Woman, and Mona Wright is a contributing author to the amazing anthology UnMute Yourself, with lead author Simone Walden, which will be the focus of our discussion. Welcome, Mona.
Thank you. It is an honor and a privilege to be here today to interview with you all, to share this anthology. I'm excited and nervous all at the same time, but it is okay.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is. We just have conversations. That's it.
Yes.
So relax and
Yes.
enjoy.
So,
Yes.
how did you get on this road?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, well, first of all, I'm a writer, so I do plays also. And a couple of years ago, I had some infidelity in my marriage. It's probably been about a good 6 years ago now. And so from that, after everything was over, I wanted to write a play about it. I started writing a play, but I didn't actually finish the play yet. So I started a book. I started writing my book, Bound by Love. I had the title and everything. I wrote a couple of things, but because I wasn't all the way healed, I just kind of put it to the side, because every time that I would try to write, it would hurt. It would bring up a lot of course, the things that had went on. And so I kind of stopped writing it. Life happened, of course, and I just set it to the side. Every time I tried to pick it back up, I just could not get with it. But speeding up to today, during the pandemic, when the pandemic hit and we were quarantined, life kind of slapped everybody in the face, really making you take a look at yourself and say, okay, have I actually contributed to my purpose? What have I done? Have I fulfilled my purpose? Am I fulfilling my purpose? So that led into me saying, okay, let me go and do what I was last trying to do. And that was the book. So I had, kind of like pulled it out of the computer, viewed it a little bit, and was going to start writing in it. I was viewing pages that I had previously wrote. And Dr. Mary J. Huntley, who's a good friend of mine, she recommended Simone Walden's 5-day writing challenge. I said, okay, this is, lining up, because I had just poured out my writing that I wanted to do. So I did that 5-day writing challenge, actually missing the first 2 days of it. And, just thinking that, okay, this is something simple. But I tell you, when I got into the writing challenge, those 3 days was very powerful, and it actually changed my life. And so from that, after the challenge, Simone came to us, and offered the anthology, and did we want to do it? And I really kind of pulled back from it at that time, because then I got afraid, And so I was like, do I really want to do this? Should I do it? I don't want to expose my husband. So, I said, look, this year, I wanted to really live life to the full. I wanted to not walk in fear anymore. So I said, okay, is a do or die situation. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to walk in faith instead of fear. This time I'm going to do what God had told me to do. And so therefore, you know, I went ahead and told Seminary yes, told God yes first, and told Seminary yes, I would do it. And so here we are.
Wow. Wow. And what a courageous thing. All of you women are so courageous to share your truth in a book. And I know a lot of things still came up for you when you were writing the chapter. Just not to give it away, but can you give us a little snippet of what your chapter is about?
So, although I was dealing with I'm dealing with the healing part of the infidelity, or I'll say I'm dealing with the infidelity, but it's really healing. I'm on a 100-day healing journey with God. And part of that healing was me speaking about what I say was the most space takers of my life outside of my mother's death, because that's another thing in my weight that I will be dealing with. But as far as the book is concerned, my infidelity in my marriage was a huge space taker in my life. Not because we had not moved past that, because certainly we did. We have moved past that. You know, I decided to stay in the marriage because of what God told me. And that part is in the book, you know, God actually speaking to me and telling me to go back, because, you know, it had happened more than one time. So I was at a point where I said, okay, enough is enough. I wanted to get a divorce. And so by the time that I really tried to get a divorce, God says then to go back. So that was, you know, something at the time I really didn't understand. I do fully more so understand it now than I did back then. But so but it's about me more so healing, because I wanted to, again, live my life full out. Being quarantined helped me to figure that out. And I just wanted joy and I wanted peace. I didn't want to have thoughts in my marriage of him doing anything. And all those thoughts were my own thoughts, because like I said, we had already passed everything. I needed to not be thinking negative thoughts. So I had to renew my entire mind to say, okay, you stayed in this marriage. This is what God told you to do. So I just needed to trust God and not have thoughts circulating in my mind all the time, you know. And it actually, the thoughts that came, they would come and go. So it's not like it was all the time, because we had counseling and everything. But I do know during the quarantine, especially, they started coming back up. And I wanted to be relieved of all of that. I just wanted to live my life knowing that my husband fully loved me. I fully love him. And I just wanted to be free of anything, any negative thoughts that I was thinking, so that I can live my life to the full and in purpose in God.
Wow.
That's an awesome, like Ida said, that is a courageous step to put that down in writing. And I really commend you for it, because you have told the story of so many women just now who are trying to leave infidelity within their marriages, within their relationships behind them. And to what I love most is the power of forgiveness. That's really what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Most people don't realize that forgiveness is the basis of all relationships.
Yes.
Constantly learning how to forgive. And it's not easy. It is not easy. So I commend you for staying in your marriage, because many women would have walked away and used it as an excuse to, you know, go on about their business. But to return to your marriage is really highly commendable and truly in line with what God says about marriage.
Yeah, because you know, I do speak about a part in the marriage where God had actually told me, or gave me the scripture actually of Hosea and Gomer, and I knew that it had to be God, because I wasn't at that time familiar with that scripture at all. And he gave that scripture and said, love him unconditionally, just like I love you. And that would show him how to love God.
Yes.
And so
the perfect scripture. Yes, that book, the book of Hosea.
Yes. And so I had to look at him, I had to actually stop looking at him from a human point of view. And I had to start looking at him through the perspective of God's eyes. I mean, and not only him, but everyone,
Yes.
not judging people and looking at them just from the outward parts. But I really had to see who God is through them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that.
Yes, that's how I was really able to, forgive him. I had to dwell on the fact that, okay, I do make many mistakes, and I do different things that God, I'm sure, has not been pleased with. And, if God can forgive me, and of course I'm not God, but we are made in the image and the likeness of God. And so if I profess as a believer to walk in God's shoes, walk in the things of God, then I need to start showing those same, godly attributes too.
Exactly.
And so that's what, So that's
awesome.
what I have done to get over and past that, with that whole forgiveness thing. That's what helped me.
That's so powerful. And that's the only thing that can help you, because if the Bible, basic information before leaving Earth, okay?
Yeah.
First of all, if we follow everything in that book, life will be a whole lot more easier for all of us.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the whole idea, and I mean, I've been married for 20 something years, and trust and believe, it has not been a picnic. And there are times in my mind that I have left 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And then something that you said was very instrumental, all the mistakes that we've made, that God wasn't pleased with, and we know he wasn't pleased with.
Yes.
We know he wasn't, but he never left us.
Right.
That's the basis of forgiveness, when you can look at yourself and say, oh, well, I've done thus and thus and so, and I still know that I have God's love and his attention. He loves me like a father. And then when you look at other people and you see what they've done with their lives, to look at them and say the same thing. Well, yep, they've made their mistakes, but they still are privy to God's love. My job is to encourage that belief, so that they become stronger. Just like Hosea, there was a purpose in all of that.
Yes.
But the fact that he was able, even the way that he named his children, there was a purpose in that. But when you look at it in the terms of marriage, to be able to be told to go and take someone who is a prostitute as your wife, and then watch her repeatedly walk out on you or step out on you, then come back and be told, no, go back and take her back as your wife.
Yes,
and honor her as your wife. That is huge. That's huge. And if more people would practice that in their marriages on every level, not just infidelity, there's so many other things that go on in marriages, in relationships. If they could use that principle of forgiveness, the world would indeed be better.
Yes, indeed.
Because we don't practice that as a rule. That is not practiced in the world.
No.
The idea is always getting even.
Yes.
And being right, being right. I'm the one who's right, you're wrong. That's the end of the story. So
that's huge, Ruth. You nailed it on the head. And marriage is very difficult. Mm-hmm. It is a very difficult thing. It's like raising children. That's difficult. And having, being in a marriage is, people change. Yeah. And sometimes they don't always change for the better.
Right. And sometimes people come into marriage with so much baggage that they've never examined.
Right.
They've never examined the baggage that they had before they came into the marriage. And then they come into the marriage and they sort of empty out the trunk of all this stuff and then tell each other to deal with it. And it's like, I don't know what that's about. You have to explain some things to me, and then the communication breaks down. Mm-hmm. So this whole concept of, I know you see it so very often, people get married and there's so much quote unquote in love,
Right.
And one of the scriptures that I came across recently was 1 John 6. And it talks about what love is, what love means. And I think you've applied that beautifully, because it says that when we obey the commandments of God, that is what love is.
Yes,
Then
yes,
we
yes,
show love to God and we show love to our neighbor.
yes.
So when you did that, your husband is your neighbor and you showed love to him. Love, not emotions, not all the rest of that stuff. And I'm sure both you and I that can talk about that. I've never been married. I've been in relationships years ago. In fact, one just came back. The reason I can talk about this is because one just came back recently and sort of hit me in the face. But it's the same thing, that depth of relationship, the learning how to forgive and learning what love is.
Yes, yeah.
That is the biggest thing. I think there is so much nonsense about love. And that's what we tend to focus on. You know, we focus on the romance.
Yes.
Romance and love are two different things.
Absolutely.
Completely different things. Romance will not last.
No,
Right.
it will not.
Right. And I had to also understand that, you know, it really wasn't against me so much as what I was doing or wasn't doing. I had to really realize it was something in him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the root cause, you know, didn't begin with me. The root cause began with him.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of, you know, that helped too a lot.
Sure.
Not blaming
that understanding, not blaming yourself, realizing that baggage, that whole big trunk, steamer trunk full of stuff, walked into your marriage the day you said I do. Yes. He set that truck down, popped it open, and dumped it out.
Yes. And we got married young. It would be 31 years, October the 7th. So next week, it would be 31 years. So we got married real young. So, you know, imagine.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You got more years than I did. I'm getting close to 30, but not quite there yet. But congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I know it was a road.
Ooh, Jesus. I'm telling you, like I said, this book, you know, like I said again, I didn't want to expose him, so it doesn't talk about a lot of the details, you know, and then we only had so many pages because it's a book anthology. So, you know, it's a lot that I could have exposed, but
sure,
that was not my purpose.
Yeah, you want to protect him. He's still your mate, so you want to protect him.
Exactly. I did not want to expose him, you know, to that degree in any wise. I wanted to just say my piece so that I can heal and move on even more from it.
Yes.
And help others, you know, that, like you said, in that same situation, whatever situation that they're dealing with, you know, may not be the exact same situation, but I can help other men, women, women or men, and you know, in whatever they need the help in. Because in the book, of course, you know, I say what helped me. I give some pointers of how I got through it, you know, and a lot of it was using Joyce Meyer's book, The Battlefield of the Mind.
Yes. Okay. I've heard so many people talk about that.
Yes.
I love that book. That book.
Love it. I was not only reading her book, but I was listening to the sermons and playing them out loud at night so that him and I could hear it at the same time. Hey. And so, you know, that helped renew my mind a lot. Also, so that's one little tip. So
yes, that's an awesome tip, because
it is
the fact that you are making the spiritual journey together, because this is a spiritual journey.
Yes.
And you've overcome one of the major hurdles that can come up, and to hear that you're playing something, that you're sharing something spiritual that the two of you can really both identify with now. Because the mind is the battleground.
Yes, it is.
Doing some research on that today, as a matter of fact, and I was reading a portion of the Tao Te Ching, and it talks about the mind. It was talking about the mind. the mind, the Chinese have, Americans talk about the heart, or Westerners talk about the heart, but the Chinese talk about hing. But hing actually means the mind.
Wow.
So they were talking about the fasting of the heart. And it's really interesting. It's chapter 10 in the Tao Te Ching. It's very interesting. And it's I just kind of like wanted to go sit down someplace and just be quiet. Because we have so much information coming in. And I think that's what harms so many relationships. There's so much junk coming in. We see it every day. We hear it every day. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and we were laughing about the songs that we grew up with. You know, all the rock and roll and rhythm and blues songs, and the messages we were given.
Yeah.
They're crazy. And because we were listening to them, and we were busy dancing and having a good time, but we were also listening to those messages and taking them in. And as a result, they've figured out in our lives. And so we need we need people like you to talk about the inside of marriage, how painful it can be, but that you can change the messages that you have about your marriage, because that is sacrosanct. That marriage is sacrosanct. You don't have to take in the messages of the world. And so many people do. You know, that's why there is so much infidelity, because people are told, you know, gee, you can get a divorce, you know, you don't like each other. There you go. And a lot of people, they say that now a lot of people actually get married with that caveat in the back of their mind. If it doesn't work out, we can get divorced. Wow. And that's a statistic, a fact. And that's insane.
That is insane. That's insane, and that is sad. You know, and just going back, I do talk about some triggers that may trigger me, you know, so I have to definitely watch what I put in my ear gates and my eye gates, because, you know, they can be triggers. So I have to be mindful, you know, of those things. I'm talking about anything from a song to a commercial. It may bring back some of those memories, you know, and then before you know it, if I don't be careful of that, I'll have a whole drawn up situation playing out in my mind that has never happened, and that he has no clue that is even happening now.
Exactly. And then you start speaking or acting out of this whole
thoughts. Yes, exactly. That whole movie
in your mind.
Yeah. Yes. That whole movie will be going on, and it will change my behavior, my attitude. And he looking like, what in the world did this come from? You know? And so you have to be mindful of those things. You know, you were talking about that whole music and what we're listening to. So yes, all of that plays a part.
Yes. Oh, definitely. We were groomed to listen to certain types of music that encouraged activities and behaviors that were just wrong. They were just wrong, you know, but we didn't know that. We were young, and like I said, we were dancing and grooving and having a good time. We didn't realize we were being programmed for the rest of our lives.
Exactly.
And that's what's so dangerous about the music that's out there now, is that there's no good music out right now. It's rare that you find music that has good lyrics, that's encouraging or something positive. And we have another whole generation that's been programmed by the music that they've listened to.
Yeah.
So that's, again, where people like yourselves come in and can speak to a younger generation and say, you know, you need to check out what you're listening to, what you're watching. You need to check out the video games you're playing, because they're all programming you into a particular way of thinking, and it's not necessarily good.
Absolutely.
Because you're a wife also. You're a wife and you're a mother.
Yes.
Okay, and I heard you say that you had visitors today.
Yes, I had my adult son come and visit me today. I have an 11-year-old who all my kids are spread apart. So I have I'll go to the top. My son who visit today, my adult son, he's 30. Then I have a 20-year-old daughter, and then I have my she's 12 now, 12-year-old daughter. So my kids are like spread between 8 and 10 years apart.
Right.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah. Pray for me, y'all.
I know. My granddaughter just found out she's pregnant, and her son is like 10 or 11. So she is like, don't know whether to be happy or sad.
I'm telling you, that last one, being pregnant finding out that I was pregnant at 42, that was a doozy. That like hit me real hard.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, that was something right there. But you know, all in all, it's a joy because also I can deal with the kids because I'm 25, well, I would actually say 30. I always say 25, but I forget that I was a counselor when I was a teenager at my little summer job programs. So I've been in the daycare business for over 30 years, for about 30 years.
Mm.
And I work in a Charles County school system now as a substitute teacher. So I'm still in that educational field. And I'm actually thinking about going back now, but getting a whole building for a daycare center. So that's my next project that I'm doing.
All right.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, the best to you on that.
Yes, thank you.
So what is the title of your chapter?
So it's called Bound by Love.
I know that's right.
Yes.
Awesome chapter. I like that.
I love it. I love it.
Bound
by love.
Yes. Bound by love.
Write that down.
Yes, bound by love. I am definitely bound to the love of God. And through that, I am bound to my husband.
Awesome.
That's
that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. So wonderful to hear, because you don't hear that often.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So wonderful to hear. And in the right order, you're bound to God first, bound to your husband in love.
Yes,
that's what love is.
That is
exactly. It is not romance. Romance comes and goes, and it just comes and goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Romance
in your relationship where it gets revived a little bit, but mostly it's, do I love this person enough to put up with everything that they're about, even the things that I don't like? And I saw the funniest thing. It was about young couples getting married, and how young couples are always so in love. Yeah. And this one young woman said one of the biggest arguments that she had with her new husband was the fact she would wash dishes, and she'd have a towel for drying the hands, and she'd have a towel for drying the dishes. Mm-hmm. And he could not figure out which was which. So he would come in and pick up either towel and be busy wiping his hands, and she would lose it. And he was kind of like, what is wrong with you? And it was just one of those things. It was a little thing, but eventually we were able to laugh about it. But it was not funny at the beginning. And it's things like that, that sometimes people use as an excuse to, quote unquote, escape their marriage. Yes. And they're really not escaping. I've been just doing a lot of reading of late, and someone was talking about second marriages, and that people have to be so careful not to take the baggage from first marriage into second marriage, along with all the rest of their personal baggage that they've never looked at. And I was thinking, ooh, that's a lot.
Right. Yeah, consider. This is my second marriage. So the first one, it was a 10-year stretch between the next one. And I had a lot of time to evaluate the entire situation.
There you go.
And really look at my part in it as well as his part in it. And I think when you do that and you go into your next relationship, you see you've already evaluated what happened, what you can do better in the next one. And that's really how you need to go from relationship to relationship anyway, is to look at what happened. Yeah. Okay, good, bad, ugly, all of it. And take the good from it and move forward, and understand that one of the things that I learned was I don't care how good of a person you are, if people are not ready, they're just not ready.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And sometimes people get married for the wrong reasons. They get married to marry.
Yes, that's true.
Not really knowing what marriage really is all about. And taking that time to, as being older, you don't get that until you get older. But anyway, I think my first marriage, I'm thinking some kind of Cinderella stuff. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was hardly not that.
I understand.
Yeah, I think the first time I was young and he was young, and neither one of us really understood what we were doing.
That's interesting.
What it boils down to.
Yeah.
The second time, I was fully aware.
Okay.
Fully aware. So, and I think it made a difference. I mean, we're going on almost 30 years married, and we have a 24-year-old son. And it's been a roller coaster. But now we pretty much got a good understanding. I mean, not to say we don't argue, and he don't make me mad and I don't make him mad, because I do and he makes me mad. But at the same time, we got a really good relationship. And at this point, you know, everybody's trained and pretty much.
Yeah.
So, you know, at this point, it's a keeper.
All
Right.
It's
Yeah.
definitely.
He knows which dish towel not to use.
Huh?
I said he knows which dish towel not to use.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
This has been so fun. And how can people get the book?
Yes.
Okay, so you can get in touch with me through Facebook. I don't have a website for any of my businesses. I had one and I had to shut it down, and I will start one back up. But right now, through Facebook under Mona Wright, WRIGHT, or on IG, Mona _Wright, WRIGHT, and you can DM on IG or message on Facebook.
Very fine. Very fine.
So quickly, tell us a little bit about your other businesses.
So years ago also, God had just told me, I believe God had told me, you know, to do t-shirts. So I started, my husband and I both, because he is the computer whiz and designer and all of that. I told him the designs that I wanted, and he, you know, he would do it. He would complete it. So we just ordered all the equipment. It's called All WrightTees, which is our, you know, last name, of course. And so I do that. Also, you know, anybody want anything from that, they can also reach me on Facebook or IG also. And then I have my gift basket business, which is customized gift basket. They're very exquisite gift baskets. I will have to send you all some of my beautiful work, some pictures.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'd
of my
like to see
beautiful
it.
work. Yes, and I also have a beautiful butterfly Facebook group. It was a private group, and it's just a safe place for women to come and share, just to have for well, I talk about it in my book, and I don't want to give that part away, but I talk about it in my book, how God had given me 4 stages, just like a butterfly, actual butterfly, of renewing, transforming, emerging, and soaring. So it's basically, you know, not allowing your trials, your situations, whatever you have going on in your life, your circumstances, not allowing you to succumb to that. Mm-hmm. So you don't succumb to the pressures of life, basically, you know. So in order to do that, you know, we renew our mind so that we can be transformed, so that we can emerge, and that's coming into our purpose, so that we can soar in life. And it doesn't mean we're not going to have any trials and situations anymore. It just means that we can overcome those trials and situations and soar above those trials and situations that we find ourselves in. So I'm getting that together again now. I'm revamping it now so that I can get that going once again. And although that was supposed to be taking me out of fear, I still was walking in fear a little bit. So I kind of pulled back on it. You know, once I couldn't find a lot of women to do stuff, then it was like, okay, well, then you do it. And I was like, me? I just wanted other women to come on and share their stories. I didn't want to do it myself.
Right.
But, you know, God has called me to minister, and it's like, okay, Mona, what is wrong with you? You have to get out here and do that. So I am revamping it, and this part that I'm doing now is all a part of even getting out of the fear and overcoming that fear that I have so deeply. I'm just pushing myself and say, I'm going to do this. You know, I would not allow the enemy to stop purpose in my life no more. It's been too long.
I heard that.
I heard that too. Thank you for that.
Well,
thank you. That is a potent reminder.
Yes, it is, because we all go through it. I don't care how successful we are. When we're moving to that next level that we've never seen before, it is scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is truly scary. But I'm to the point, I'm going to do it scared. I don't even care.
That's right. Joyce Meyer says, do it afraid.
That's right. Well, it has been a real blessing and honor to be with you. And I'm looking forward to more of these conversations. Yeah. And Bound by Love, I'm telling you that is so much power in your chapter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the people listening definitely get the book. It is just your chapter, I'm sure, because Simone, she actually talked about your chapter in that book, that you had moved her in a mighty way. And you have done that for us this day. So we truly, truly appreciate you.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate you all. You both. I appreciate you. I appreciate the opportunity. You know, I did it afraid, and I am so happy that I have overcome my fear, and I'm walking in the greatness of God and what He has called me to do.
Amen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Same here.
Your business, through Just Minding My Business Media, has exposure on internet radio, major social media platforms, and now TV. Through Just Minding My Business, dynamic digital marketing platform. Don't listen to the word on the street. Hear it for yourself. Visit jmb.asistercircle.org to learn how you can take your business, your vision, to the next level. Thank you to the amazing women of A Sister Circle Empowerment Network, ASCEN LLC, and our media partners. Voiceovers by RCH VoiceWorks, for when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.